The world is full of energy-hungry giants. They have always been there, consuming our resources, telling us all sorts of fairy tales. We were small, but sustainable. Remember, we were like a thought that came out of nowhere. We knew it was more important to be smarter than to simply follow the crowd. As long as we kept a cool head, as long as we worked hard, trusted ourselves, listened to our heart, then our day would come. We wait until they become sluggish. Wait until they are so fat that they can hardly react. And then we come out into the light. We walk silent, but fearless, and strike. Unstoppable. Join the movement. Signum.
Hello guys, welcome to a Signum meetup. I hope you liked this start. Okay, today we will have presentations by Oliver about Signum real use. But at first I will start by showing our community members stuff. It is Signum billboard. Here you can find Signum related stuff. You can. It is based on Signum smart contracts, and for now it is very cheap. Here you can promote your stuff, or just find what people have on our chain. So please check this website and support creator by using it. And next one, I will show for developers. Here you can find examples how to connect your website to a Signum XT wallet. Signum XT wallet, it is, I will log in. It is browser extension. It can be used by like wallet, and by going to this history, you can find examples how to connect to browser extension. It is created by iPro. He is creator of Fomplo website, where you can find nice tools like converters, calculators. So check this website. Okay, now, hello, Oliver.
Hi there.
Okay, I will add your presentation.
Okay. Well, yeah, welcome. I have some great news. Some people already knowing that I'm working, of course, as a developer for Signum. I'm working on different stuff. For those who are new to Signum, so I created the XT wallet, the Phoenix wallet, activator stuff, the Signum.js SDK. So pretty active around in other cases, trying to help developers to onboard. And yeah. What I'm going to present right now, okay, Schiffers is...
Yeah, I forgot to say that we have stream on Twitter and on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube live chat, you can ask some questions related to presentation or related to Signum community stuff, and we answer them after presentation or on presentation if it's related to it. Okay.
Yeah, kind of. I will see if it's good to make some breaks, probably, because I split it a little bit apart. But what happens is, like, the last month, I was working on a new use case. So some people came to me and asked me how to solve a certain problem with the business idea they had. So what I'm going to present right now is the business idea of that, and the first part will be business oriented. I'm trying to explain it in a very rough overview. Just a disclaimer here: I'm not a business expert. I'm more the technical expert here, and my expertise was used in that project. And because I just like that project so much, and I think this has so much potential, so I finally was able to get into the company, and so I will talk about this right now. So the company we're talking about is AXT PropTech. So it's like asset multiplex trust in that, and that's the original idea. So that means that we are dealing with digital assets, and we're trying to giving access to people using concepts of blockchain for transparency, and so creating trust on top of that. PropTech is like fintech, but it means for property tech. The initial idea we're going to present you is about real estates and properties. So clicking over to that one, I just need to get an orientation quickly how that is. Okay, so table of content is like, who is XT PropTech? What's the business model? How does it work? How does it fit with Signum, and what's next in general? So first of all, it's a Brazilian corporation. It was founded officially in November 2022. That means then what's this CNPJ number was emitted, and the CAO is Daniel Euri. That's that guy here. This is our CMO. This is Daniel Kovo. This is our COO. This is Osman Lima, and apparently that fat guy here in the background, that's me. And that's the homepage. I have some, if you go to the homepage, it's just a very simple landing page. I know that people complain that there's practically nothing saying about that, but there's a certain reason for that. I will talk about this in a few moments. So what's the initial business model of that? So I'm going roughly over that. This is a flywheel. We're trying to get the inertia and making the flywheel running faster and faster and all this stuff. So all the idea is about equity. And the XT is like going to make acquisition of equity. And the more acquisition you have, the more equity you have, the more token valuation you have in that term. And from that acquisition, we got our revenues, and are going back to the XT, and the circle is spinning all along. It's a very simplified diagram, but that is in the meaning of flywheel concept. This is something that remembers us what we're really aiming for. There's just nothing saying really about the business itself, but it's the idea of what we're talking about. It's like tokens, acquisition, and equity, and all this stuff. The initial idea is that we create simplified access to reserved markets. In that specific case, we have a certain market that we'll talk about that. It's about diversification. In that diagram here, it's said like we're using strong currency. That is because we are Brazilian and we suffer volatility on our own currency here. And we are right now we are aiming to the Northern American market, especially the United States. And the main goal is that we build equity, and of course to keep while building equity, the risk is low as possible. So very straightforward. It's like a little bit like, okay, everybody means, yeah, that's nothing new. No, we're going a little bit further. So what is the thing at this moment where the idea came up? There is something in the United States, it's called tax deed, tax lien certification. That is kind of people who are having tax debt on their housings. The government in certain states is picking up that titles, or this turning that into titles, which other people can acquire on auctions. And in that case here, so the owner can get if he pays the debt, he can get this title back to him, or in the worst case, if he cannot like pay the bill somehow, then probably he will lose his housing. It's that by government, it's not by banking or whatever. And that is where we get into and trying to get the equity out of that by rental and sales, so that the XT is here. And the acquisition is done by kind of, you can say like an ICO in that way. So we are emitting tokens for token holders that can take share or having shares on the entire operation. This is a very simplified model. I'm telling you that the part with the deed and tax deed certificate stuff is very complicated. I will talk about this in a few moments. So just a disclaimer here that's very important to say that this is not a public offer yet. So I'm just showing the case because it fits pretty good. It was relatively easy to realize that with Signum, but it has to be private at this moment, like family and friends, because of the regulations here in Brazil. So we are compliant with national regulations. It's called the Comissão de Valores Imobiliários, which is like SEC. And we need to follow that. So we are guided by lawyers. They tell us what we can do and what we cannot do. And in the first moment, it's only accessible for Brazilian residents. So what we're practically doing is like we open the real estate market in the United States, part of that, like a niche, for Brazilian residents. In the future, of course, in terms of growth, that we're trying to make public offers, and in the future, if all went well, we'll be going to international market, which will be much more complex because of countries' regulations and all this stuff. So we are really aware of that. We start small and making one step by another. So the flow is like that. So if we're starting from a token holder, so somebody who's interested in that product, he has to do a KYC AML, so know your customer anti-money laundering process. There is no way to get around that. Otherwise, we would be shut down immediately by the CVM. And so once he has registered on the platform, as you can see, even that this is the same that's going on with the exchanges. So at the momentarily, it's just like off topic, but we're seeing that strong tendency that regulators are they're threading the decentralized idea. And this threat is like having some side effects, as we can see, for example, in the United States, especially there, even in Canada. And that is, for example, some US citizen knows that Bittrex US decided to close their operations on the US side. Bittrex Global is continuing, but this is something that's starting to threading all crypto space all over. And even the similar happens in Canada with another exchange. They're preventively delisted certain assets because they need to see if they're compliant with their SEC organization. So that's the current world we are living in. It's not very favorable for crypto, especially in certain parts of the world. But fortunately, Brazil is more on the opposite. So the CVM here is more open-minded, more technology-friendly, and they accept that, but they still want to regulate that. And I agree with that. We know that many scams are running down the hills, and we know that crypto space suffered by a minority of malicious individuals. So going back to that one. So once done KYC AML, you can acquire, so you buy tokens, and we call this XTP. This is a security token in that way. You buy this by fiat money, or at the moment we started supporting USDC, but of course we stopped that for certain reasons, and we are just like observing the market right now to see what's going on. But I'm confident that that will be in that way. So we're trying to use it with more or less stable money. So USDC is more stable than Brazilian real, but that is what we're having here. So this goes to XT Holding, the corporation here in Brazil. And by verification process, we are sending XTP token as a share to the token holder. On the fourth step, so XT Brazil is sending to an LLC, which is created right now. We have that AXT Alpha LLC for what we call Pool 1. This is a company in the United States which is bound to the holding here in Brazil. And the operations about the acquisition of the tax deed titles and all the stuff is done by that one. So we call this, we have a pool concept. That means that we start with a relatively small pool. So we have a goal to say that we want to acquire over the next month up to 100 or 120 properties where we got our revenues from. And on top of the revenues, we will we will emit, or we will distribute another coin, which is a utility token. You can consider this as a stable token, which is called XTC. This is a closed economy here, so there is not like XTC or XTP is being tradable on public platforms. It's important to say that. That is mainly because of KYC AML, but it's also a part for our token governance because the market manipulation. So if we control the market on that, we can keep more track on, especially the packed XTC stuff. It starts to being publicly traded somehow, and then we are we're under high risk that something can really go wrong. That's the way we have it. So once again, going to Brazil, holding the pool one, then we have the acquisition of that. It's a long-term investment. We're talking about 1, 2, 3 years until the acquisition process is finalized, and then we get back the revenues, and we are selling them back to the token holders. And the token holders have the opportunity to cash it out. So like as we have the liquidity guaranteed, it will be audited and all the stuff. We're just in the starting operations. Then they can cash out the XTC either in, for example, in dollar if they have a US banking account, or in Brazilian real, or even in crypto if they want to. And they're getting that back, or they can reinvest that, for example, in further pools, which we will build up in the future. So the technical concept behind it is all the same. This is more about the structure, the organization, and especially about the processes. So that's the rough overview of this current operation. So what I said, the first pool, we call it AXTP 0001. So a lot of zeros to have up to almost 10,000, 9,999 pools if everything went fine. So, so the goal for the first pool is to acquire 100 to 120 properties. The way we do this is about using a concept called tax deed, tax lien certificates. I'm not going into that. Don't have the expertise to go into that part, and and there is some material out there you can read about that. So revenues are about renting and sales and the operations behind that. So you may say, okay, how is it organized? So we know that we don't have all the expertise. We have financial expertise, we have administrative expertise, we have technology expertise, but we don't have at the moment legal expertise. So that is the one what we have. This company here, this is helping us, Axin. They're specialized on digital assets laws here in Brazil and even in the United States. They are guiding us on that part. Then we have, of course, our own XT USA part is like that we have certain LLCs. For example, in the first place, we have AXT Alpha LLC, which we are aiming to, that's going to be operate in Alabama, Florida, Missouri, and Georgia. XT Beta, and Gamma, and also forth. They're coming then if we are about to discover new areas and new markets. It's not even clear yet if, for example, XT Beta will even work on the same text deed or tax lien stuff. It can be something different, physical asset that is being operating on stuff that. So the disadvantage of the tax deed, tax lien stuff is this long-term investments. It's nothing like quick money coming back right now. And that is something we have an eye on, and that is like, needs to be operated. And then there's the part who is doing the operations. We have a business partner in the United States. We're specialized in that tax deed, tax lien real estate market. And these are our business partners. They're doing the operation in the United States because of their more than a decade expertise on that market. And this is where we are. The entire structure. There are kind of business contracts behind that, of course. And that's the entire structure right now. So if you say, hey, Oliver doesn't understand the real estate market, it's totally true. But or at least not sufficiently to make this operation running. But we have the business partners on that part. So as I said, I'm just the technological leader here. So where is Signum coming in? Are there so many questions right now, Schiffers? Probably before I'm going over to the tech part, probably people are
No,
interested.
we
Okay.
have not related to your presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Where Signum chimes in. Okay, that is like we have on one side we have a special purpose wallet for the people, and we have a back office operation here, where we is like our control center. Just like remembering that is the pool concept. So we have the XTP and XTC here and the token holders. So we're gone right now. We are looking at this part here. You see that. So what is in terms of token governance, saying like that? So what do we have? So we have XTP and then the numerical expression, which is the security token, which have valuation in the future, and this is being emitted or issued per pool. So right now we have one pool. This is linked to the Alpha LLC, AXT Alpha LLC in the United States. And then we have the utility token for distribution. This is more for our measurements on that. So every issued or minted, to be honest, it's already issued, but it's not minted yet. If you look into the main chain, you will see that XTC has no minted coin at this moment. And this is because we don't have any liquidity for that right now at the moment. So we're working on that. The operation started on Saturday, a little bit before. Last Saturday, it's very fresh operations, and we're building up everything right now to get that. And the utility token is pegged 101 to a dedicated account in the United States, where we really what is there on site, and we make audits. There will be audits by our official auditors that we give that transparency on that side, saying that we have the 100% pegged liquidity for the XTC token. And in part of the token governance, you may ask who is emitting that and who is minting that. Of course, it's not me. And of course, it's not our CEO, because that would be too much power in the hand of one person. And all our tokens are managed by smart contracts. So who is in Signum knows that we have pretty good smart contracts capabilities, and we can write them either in Java syntax or in C syntax. In my case, I used Smart C. And what we started is we have a master contract called XTC. And we have the pool contracts. So every new pool creates a new contract. And it's like XTP pool contract, XTP 001, 002, and so on and so forth. There are technical all the same. It's just like a copy with a different initialization. The master contract is just a single instance. So that means that I don't emit the tokens, and our CEO Daniel is not emitting this or minting that. It is going over multi-sig approval. That certain operations like minting, burning, and distribution of XTC requires the approval by the board. So it is 3-of-1 approval. You see that I show you that in the back office in a few moments, and that's very important that we have that. So I'm talking about the back office. Let me see. I need to switch over, then I can show you that. Let me see just if there's token governance recorded. Going to this in the first place could be interesting. I'm switching this share screen. I'm stop sharing right now. I'm going over to a new screen. Okay. So I'm presenting right now another window, and that is the back office here. Hey, Shimian. Okay. There it is. Nice. So you see right now we have, it's a bare bone administrative board. It's like what we call MVP, a minimum viable product to run our operations. As you can see, this is the staging environment. Fun fact beside, so I'm connected to the XT wallet. So if you ask about security layers, what are going on, the entire back office is secured by OAuth, by conventional access. But for the operations, there is one more security barrier, which is the smart contracts and the signing by the XT wallet in that case. And the smart contracts are needs authorization or needs dedicated accounts, which are hard coded there inside. So it's like trying to minimize any possible attack vector as possible as best as possible. So if we go, for example, we have some of the things here. Of course, this is prone to changes in the future, but it helps us right now on the operations. There is something like the cockpit, what we have right now. You can see that there can somebody go over there and can say like, okay, I'm suggesting to mint some liquidity because we just had some revenue and we just put $25,000 into an account. So then he makes a suggestion, and most probably we do this in a kind of a board meeting, a frequent periodic board meeting when the operations are going.
Excuse me.
yeah.
So it is for management. This website.
That is the that's management website. I just want to show you about the governance of the tokens that we're doing. Yeah. You see that I'm like right now in the managed liquidity stuff where I can mint or even burn. It's the same here. I can suggest burning. I can go here. I can, for example, right now I can approve minting. And so it's asking me to confirm the minting. I'm going there. Successfully tracks. I can even open that in Explorer. Right now, the staging environment is going to the testnet Explorer, but you see that it's all going here. We have the same, of course, the production already running in the mainnet. Just like to have an idea. We have the block times going on. We see that in a few moments, there will be the first approval. Like we have it, for example, would look like this, something. I can even do that. I prepared that. I have, for example, 4,000 XTC. So this is the testnet environment pending. And I can, if I switch over the other approval account, of course, in the staging environment, the approval accounts are under my control for testing purposes, but all of our board members has its own private key, own account, and nobody else is knowing the other's account, okay? So this is not like I'm managing the private keys of the other board members. They know about that responsibility. And we're even thinking of how we can secure these keys in a physical way, like, these hard wallets or hardware wallets. That's something that we're going to do in the future. So if I switch over, for example, to another account right now, which is another approval account, so he allows me to approve. I can even approve this right now. Yeah, total amount. And I confirm that. Just like, is it the approval account? I think so. It is. Yeah, account for it should be. So same process here. We can let it operating in the background and see what's going on in a few moments. We have the payments management, which are like connected, integrated with our banks, and even with integrated in the first with the blockchains. So we are supporting Brazilian payments. We have an instant payment system here called PIX, but we have others like traditional transfers. I can't remember what it's called in America, in the United States, like ANC or something like that. I don't know. And so we have the pending payments here. We can see there are kind of references, transactions ID, for example. That's something I will talk about in a few moments, because we record the transactions on the Signum chain. So off-chain payments are tracked on-chain. We have pending token holders, all the stuff of KYC, MAL, all the stuff. Unfortunately, we have to do this. This is the most annoying part, I can tell you, even from the development perspective, but also from the ideological standpoint. But there is no way to go around. So if you want to make business with blockchain, you have to follow the regulators. Otherwise, you run high risk that you're being shut down and your operations cannot. That we see right now a certain tendency in the United States, for example, and I'm pretty sure that Europe, unfortunately, will follow the way. So if we go right now, so we have the limit, we have the managed liquidity stuff, and if we go to the pools, so it's kind of even here, I could easily create one more pool here, having like it's very just like deploying and a contract, even with an alias name. We will talk about this a little bit later. And so if we go here, so we have the pool, I can even open the pool and seeing that contract. This is the contract details, which is running here, making, for example, you see token minting, you see token transfers to other persons and all this stuff. It's all on chain, absolutely on chain. It's totally transparent. as we expected. No? We are Signum lovers, and we know that. And so, for example, if I go to dividend payout right now, I have no XTC balance here, so there is nothing that I can make one more approval of dividend payout. Why we have a second barrier here is because probably we can make a recheck, or we just say, no, we make it like that. And we have once a while, or we do the payment dividend payout, like a quarter or even a half year or monthly, whatever, it depends on the operations. And but we have, for example, several mintings within a few weeks, and then we just want to pay it out later. Or we see that something happens and we unfortunately needs to refund XTC because something, I don't know, happened, or we have made a wrong calculation, so we can even refund the XTC that's going back to the master contract. So there's nothing right now XTC. Probably when that one went through, to be honest, it's still pending, I think so. Auto payment, yeah, it's still pending. We can wait one more minute and we see it back in a few minutes to see that this will be reset. And then we will see that that pool here has 4,000 XTC here, which I then can make a dividend payout. So if I'm not really wrong, there was already payment, dividend payout, not really sure. Let me see. We have token holders here. Yeah, there was already some payouts. Okay, and if we are looking at that part, so these are our customers. And now I'm going over, for example, to the wallet. That's that one here. It's a very simple wallet at this moment. I show you the web version of that because it's a PWA, Progressive Web Application. And so if we go back, for example, to home, so it's kind of a dashboard. You see each pool that exists is being listed as such a card here. After in that wallet, you do all your KYC stuff. I did that already. This is really annoying. Once more, I say this. I hate KYC, and I think most of you hate it, but we have to do this, unfortunately. So I can go show my account, and this is more or less how it looks like. So there's something like, oh, there's an acquisition from my side, which is pending. It's being processed. So we have semi-manual processing of that. You see that's a verified account. You see how is the current portfolio of the person. It says like, okay, you have that blue amount. It's not very clear in this moment. I'm thinking of improving that somehow, but okay, that I have about 32,000, a little bit more than that, almost 33,000 XTC in my portfolio, where a part is free. And the free means I have it an XTC, and the others is like reserved in the value of the token. You see some stats of the tokens. You said like I'm owning 8 tokens of that ones here. And yeah, remember that this is all the staging environment here. You have some details over the token. It says like what is the current gross market value. That means like what we expect. What this pool has a valuation here. So we make revalidations to check if we have certain growth in the market, in the gross market value of our assets, and then we adjust that, and you get some like performance indicator here, how that works over the time. So yeah, certain stats, how many shares are available, how many are sold, how many shareholders I have them. So nothing, this is like just a representation of what we are used to see in the Explorer. You see that the link token behind that, so it can go there, it's going to the Explorer. And show me the token. It's like token issued and controlled by smart contract. We see the token mintings, the holders, the transfers, and all this stuff. So for people who are used to that, you know, okay, that's nothing new, but we just baked it into this into this application. You have something like a manual here, terms of use and privacy policy and all this stuff. What has to be done? Yeah. So
yeah. So each pool will have a separate token?
Yeah, because each pool can have different physical assets behind that.
So they will have different revenues, different risks, and
yeah, exactly. So
different states, maybe objects, or
yeah, Exactly, and it we coming up. I will talk about this by the end because something it's very dynamic what's
Sorry.
happening right now here. No, but it's a valid question. So it's always the idea is something like one pool is one LLC in the United States. Probably in the future, it will be even like a national market or in other countries where we have probably more if they're coming up cases. I'd say right now what's happening in Brazil is extremely dynamic in a positive way, and we're kind of stoked to see what's going on here. I will talk this by the end of the entire presentation. But what I've shown you so far is the visual technical solution on all the stuff. And I'm switching back to my presentation. No, Shimian is asking if this XT are running on blockchain. It's kind of clone to Signum. No, it's totally run on Signum. Absolutely. Oh, it's totally on Signum. So just like what I'm presenting here is like we have the testnet, but it's running. Let me see. I'm opening Phoenix Wallet. Let me see if I can show you. No, it's not by screen. I need to wait my screen. Show you that.
I saw on Explorer on real net you can see smart contracts and all stuff.
Exactly. So what you see here, for example, that is the main account of the company right now. So we just have small balance here, but there will be more in the future. And we'll say that later. But you see where, for example, we have some XPay is a contract from us. This is a payment tracker. We should tell you later about that. And where are the contracts? Wait, now I need to find the contract. I'm getting back to... Where is the contract? That is into. Wait, just a moment. Yeah, copying. Yeah, I can open that in Blockchain Explorer directly and can see whether the contracts. Stop sharing. Going over to another one. Multiple screen hopping here. Sorry for that. Hopefully, it's not too confusing. Yeah, I'm seeing how is KYC working there, and is it who passed? Yeah, just a moment. Is it sharing the screen? Yeah, right now. Okay, Shimon is also asking how KYC is working then. Is those who passed KYC could transfer to those who didn't? Technically, it would be possible, yes. The thing is, as we have a closed ecosystem, those who are not registered on our KYC database, they are not allowed by our internal process to exchange XTC with us or even XTP. Technically, it's possible. So it could happen that there is kind of a secondary market coming up when people start to trade the tokens. But we wouldn't buy back any tokens by people who are not registered on our backend. So that's the thing. That is how KYC works. So we have an internal validation process and saying like, okay, you are not registered. And so people would have to do KYC. In the future, I hope that we are not only limited to residents in Brazil, and can go over that. That is one of the aims we have. But it's like a very bureaucratic act, and we need good lawyers that help us on that. Okay, but yeah, it's technically true. So if one of our customers, which are even, this is very important, if the token holders are mostly non-technical persons, and this is another challenge for me to make an onboarding as seamless as possible. And our wallet is a non-custodial wallet. That means that they have the responsibility over their seed, over the passphrase, recovery passphrase. And I mean, I write it with like 3-meter letters on every document I have here, like in the manual, in the wallet itself. They can print a PDF, which is like saying, if you lose that, you lose your access. So all what we know, as we are blockchain users, we know that. We just need to educate also other people. We're even thinking of making a kind of an opt-in for custodial wallet. So people can opt in to have to delegate the responsibility over the recovery phrase to us as XTP for usability reasons. I don't like that idea because it gave me too much power I don't want to have. But there is like this balance we need to do between usability and security. So imagine you have to wait 2 or 3 years for your revenues, and you don't have that document with your recovery phrase anymore, and have changed your mobile in the meanwhile because you just got the newest, I don't know, phone model, whatever you want. So it's something that I'm a little bit afraid of, and we need to offer like a custodial service for them, but it should be opt-in and not opt-out. So for people who feel more confident like this, that's the pity for me as an ideologically. I'm looking forward to giving people the responsibility and the control over that instead of doing all on our side. But we have some measurements to work around if somebody is like losing his passphrase or something. We try to mitigate that risk somehow, but it's a challenge. Yeah. So you see here. So we have the contracts here, which are here. We are on mainnet right now, chain Signum, so proved. It's all that. Going back, present. No, I want to present once. I'm going back to my presentation right now. Chrome tag. Okay, that's why I stopped talking governance, meeting burning. So coming back on that. What else do we do with Signum? We do off-chain payment tracking. That's something very interesting, and I will talk about this. I think we should consider that Signum can not only transfer values, but they can even store or record or track things. Remember that we have 1 kilobyte data, that even with the SRC44 standard, we can even structure the data, and then we can track things. This is interesting for certain use cases. We have even people asking us if we can help them on like recycling flows and all this stuff. So even shout outs to Alistair. So we're seeing if we can do something together also in South Africa. And I can show you how it looks like in a few moments. But it's like you see here the AXTP payment tracker. So we're tracking that for auditing reasons. So if something fails on our database, probably we have a fallback on the blockchain where the things are tracked, and we can even use this for audits here in Brazil. If like I don't know what will come, KPMG or whatever will make some audits for us when our operations grows, and then we can show that. Another thing that's something interesting. We were talking, or we were developing on aliases recently, and there were kind of suggestions, the namespaces and all the things. But I use the aliases together with the structured data, the format called SRC44, to have additional metadata, editable, updatable metadata on the chain, which I can use to configure certain things of my token. Like I can a new homepage, for example. I have maximum tokens that can be acquired by people in the first moment. It's used even as pricing strategy for the tokens, and so on and so forth. So this is a very powerful feature. I would like to make a special Let's Talk about this in the future, because I think aliases, even the name is a little bit misleading. We should show. It's better to say that we have on-chain updatable data. So you have a container you own, and you can update data there inside, and you can read the data and do whatever you want. And it's not only for like resolving addresses with a human readable name. It's much more of that. It's a pretty powerful feature. What we also do is like peer-to-peer messaging to token holders. It's still work in progress because the wallet is not showing that yet. So I'm working on a concept to combine this with push notifications on the mobile, so that we can make small messages and informing the token holders that, for example, a new title was acquired. There's something going on like, oh, we are just like making an improvement on the property we just acquired. There's kind of a BART notification saying that we are adjusting the gross market value of pool 1 to something better or whatever. So we want to make this together with blockchain messaging. So we store messages on the blockchain, and then we're broadcasting them or whatever, or we make it peer-to-peer directly, like in that case here where I'm showing that thanking for purchasing a token. Questions so far?
No related questions.
Okay, cool. Roadmap. So the project started, the idea started much earlier. I got involved only on the kickoff date here. And they were like my friends and partners right now. So they became my friends, to be honest. But it was it's pretty cool to work with them together because very engaged, very nice people. And so they started with the structure of the idea, what's the problem and how's the solution, and they're just working that out. They contracted Axin, as I said, the lawyers specialized in digital asset laws. They're here from Brazil, but they have expertise in US also. And so they started with certain mappings like SWOT analysis and timeline and costs and all this stuff. And that was the time when when Osman contacted me and asked about solutions. So they were trying to get other people on board. There were like people saying, "Yeah, we can do it with Polygon," but they never came out with any solution. And because of my quick response in that time, and I showed what's possible, and I have some crazy diagrams here when I showed them what my solution might look like. And so I was able to convince them by certain things like low costs, flexibility of the platform, the token issue thing, especially the costs again, and once more again the costs, and all the things. So and that was the moment in August. I made the first prototype showing them, and I asked if I can join the project, which happened then. And so there's some more stuff. So the company got opened in October, November, officially business plan, white paper, and I started in September with the development on the MVP. And so we just launched the first pool. So we are right now more or less here. Actually, we are here. So we started the first pool. We started with the first sellings, still in the selling phase, but we don't need to have sold all tokens. We can wait. We can already starting with the acquisition of the titles in the US. So we're kind of here right now, and we started operating officially last Saturday with the official launch, and now we're going further. So what we have ahead is the biggest thing is that we want to have the regulation for the CVM that we can make a public offer. So that would just like make a reach much further. And there's something that we have, for example, the first pool, as I said, the 100 to 120 tokens, housings or properties we want to acquire. We only have 240 tokens. So we will have scarcity on that and want to see how operations will work without that we scale out too early. Now, to grow too early, too fast, so that we cannot keep track on the operations. So we need step by step. We need to automate our processes. We need to prove our processes. We need to review them, and going further and further. So it's a very lean and agile development what we're doing here, even in the business process part, not only on the development part. We have other things like here that we doing Apple and Google Play Store applications coming out. So I think this is a little bit too early to say that we want to have a proprietary exchange platform that people which are registered within our ecosystem that they can exchange it internally, because that is a lot of work. So we need probably to hire people to giving us some help. But yeah, that's what we have for by the end of the year. And interesting is something further outlook. We have this tokenization structure from the technical perspective, like having this master contract XTC and having the AXTP pools that we can just configure in terms of values and all this stuff. That applies to many use cases that we can see. And we see something, what happening in the last 2 or 3 weeks here is that people are starting to ask us for certain tokenization things and businesses. Some are fitting into our structure, others are not. But what's happening and what is really happening here in Brazil is like that the magic abbreviations ESG and EPR are absolutely hot shit. That means ESG means like environmental, social, corporate governance, and the other one is extended producer responsibility. This is mostly about sustainability and recycling. And I mean, even there's so many people asking this. We have people from the plastic industry, we have people from the metal industry, we have people from the waste industry, we have people from how you say it, power plants which are using biomass and all this stuff. They are asking for our help and how we can do the things. And we're like right now trying to focus on what we are operating right now, but we also see a big opportunity to work on that part because there independently so many people asking us, and it's all related to ESG and EPR. And that is where I personally say that this is a perfect match with Signum. So because we are low cost, we are running on a low CO2 footprint, and I know there are the proof of stake coins that they claim that they're also that way very, very economically friendly and all this stuff. But the flexibility, I just showed you certain things like peer-to-peer messaging, smart contracts, multi-sig with a smart contract, which is okay. Other smart contracts engines can do that also. We have the aliases like the on-chain mutable data and all this stuff. These are features that gives us very powerful tools on our hand. And the interaction with the blockchain, especially for me, is pretty straightforward, and it's very due to the SDK and all the things we have right in place, and we are still improving. That's something I see a good future for such kind of use cases. So that's practically all I wanted to show. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you just said that your software, which you shown and governance model, can be reused on other tokenizable objects.
Yeah, of course. It depends on the model with a certain adjustments and all this stuff. For example, there's one thing. If we want to go to the national market, we need to deal with Brazilian real. We cannot use the XTC contract. So what we would need is like another contract, an XTPR contract or something in that direction, and to make this pegged to that part, like that we use that distribution token, and that we use the other one, like the distribution token is the utility token, like XTC. And we see there very much potential, and we're just like trying to figure out where are the opportunities. But apparently here in Brazil, it's going crazy about this recycling, sustainability stuff, and we see this even in Europe. I know this. I'm a little bit more close to Europe, and for sure, I need United States is in the same situation. So we are all looking forward to all this sustainability thing, and this is a huge, huge, huge market. It's incredibly huge. And blockchain helps a lot there. I know from BASF, for example, they're using blockchain to track dotted plastic stuff. So they have physically dotted plastic on their production side already, and they can track, or they're trying to track the plastic scattered all over the world and see which is their plastic. And they use blockchain for that. Of course, you need to see if the sky is out with Signum and all this stuff. We have limits in scalability. But this is something we can clone that, like Shimon said, is it a clone or not? We can clone that and use the parameters to work on that. This is huge. I think in general for blockchain technology, I see a bright future, and there are a lot of potential, and governments and authorities are looking to see blockchain content as legal things. So they're working, and that's great to see. That's really great to see. And I'm happy that Signum has the potential to be not only a coin. Of course, that is another aspect. At this moment, we all know it's like a shit coin. Sorry to say that, but we see that there's no other word you can say at the moment because of the things going on. But the platform itself is extremely versatile, and that's why I'm promoting that. And their final words on that. So we at XT, we want to support Signum actively. That means like in the near future, we will ramp up a node, we will ramp up a miner, and we will see if we can help on other things. I think if we promote the use case here in Brazil and bringing and telling and mentioning Signum on the second step, this will bring much more attention to the entire thing. So we're working on a communication strategy right now. Our CMO is working on that to see how we can promote our product our platform, and how we can promote indirectly Signum with that also. So that's cool. And I hope that we are going into a feedback loop and seeing a more attention and traction on Signum. That's my goal. Yeah.
I have question. How they found you? Is Signum well-known blockchain on Brazil?
No,
I mean,
absolutely not.
how
Yeah,
they found you?
Yeah, that was funny. I'm a developer, and here in Brazil, I'm part in the developer community, and I worked in a very well-known company for software development. And my ex-colleagues, they're even more famous than me, some of them. And because there are conferences, I was there also and other stuff, and I want to go back to stage and see on the conference. But so Osman, actually, he asked an ex-colleague, which is nowadays at head of data science in the biggest software development company here in Brazil, even in Latin America, CINT. And he asked him if he knows somebody who knows blockchain. And so that was the case. And he said, yeah, if you want to ask something, if you want to go with blockchain, ask Oliver. And so he got in contact with me. And there's something funny happening even. So that Osman, he also knows my earlier mentor. So when I started about 10 years ago at Dextra, the company is not existing anymore because it merged with the CINT. But so my first mentor there, nowadays he's a senior principal engineer at Red Hat. He just mentioned that recently. I saw that on LinkedIn that they were liking themselves, and he said, "Osman, do you know Eder?" And he said, "Yes, I do. He was my student." And say, "What the fuck is going on here?" Because it's connecting together. So yeah, we are kind of we're a big world, but we are kind of a small world. And yeah, let's see how this works out. I think in the future, with all this blockchain stuff behind that, there's still a small community here on blockchain. And yeah, I just promoted Signum, and it fits that. And yeah, that is something. Of course, I convinced them to use Signum. And we were lucky to do so. But I think we will able to promote it much more to other people and help them. That would be cool. So way on adoption.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, let's start answering questions. What happened to the Signum community page?
We are a decentralized, scattered global community. And the owner of that one is Decrescendo. I'm not even sure if he's from Italy or from another country. I'm not sure he's not active anymore. It seems so. I don't know. That's the pity. Yeah, we tried to ping him, but I don't have personal contact. I even don't know him personally, so I cannot say that. And yeah, it's a pity that it happens. Yeah.
I think he is from States and he is a teacher, I guess, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
but
you see, I mean, I know the name by the nicknames, but I don't know the people personally. Yeah, sorry for that question. Could Signum Market get a brush up in terms of interface?
I think we hide it marketplace from web wallet.
I don't know. I cannot answer. Yeah, I thought the same. Yeah, the marketplace.
Yeah, we have in the past marketplace, and I think we several years ago hid it from front end, and it exists on back end, but we do not show it. And I'm not sure.
Is Get to Nature is referring to the DGS? To the digital good services? Is it that?
Yes. Yes. It was on classical wallet.
Yeah.
Before Phoenix.
Yeah.
Could the Signum Market brochure attempts? I don't know. Do we need it? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do we use it? That's the question. I think I need to see what is the last offer that's coming. I'm not in DGS. So that part really I don't have an idea.
This guy who have this, I guess best plotting software, TP House in Black Swan, or this
Yeah, Turbo
he
Plotter.
is, yes, he is best seller on this, was on this marketplace, and I think he got several thousands.
He
I
made a
think
good
he
profit.
was, yes, he made by selling licenses on this marketplace. I remember from old
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Okay.
We have some.
No.
No.
No, no.
Can you explain what problems we had? I think we roll over 400 blocks. I don't remember what problem was on this net.
I cannot because I wasn't working on that. I was working on the mobile wallet yesterday, and I just get aware that Frank was. I think they found a bug in a beta version, and they need to make a rollback because one of the transactions was invalid. Something in that case that caused issues and troubles. So who can answer that for sure is Frank. He's the guy who finds the weirdest errors ever. So
And
yeah.
still, testnet is for testing, and it is.
Help me. What is the 222?
It is payment standards. It's a question for Frank. I not look at it, but how I understand, you need to pay several thousands to company, and you will get this ISO standard. Because
I say the following. Yeah, I say the following. In the current situation, we don't have funds to make so interesting stunts. To say that, I understand that ISO standards are really good, and we should go and aim for that in the way. But at the current situation, the question is who pay for it. Of course, yeah, you can say the SNA is paying for it. This is something we should really aim for. I see other things in terms of standards, like the upcoming DID standard from the W3C and other things. I think we should go in that direction once we are in a certain size. We need to do that, or like we have the funds to do so. I can really good imagine that XTP can help on that kind of things. And I support that idea to being like certified and audited and all this stuff. Totally, because that brings more you say more not trust, but it brings more confidentiality. I think that's the thing. But we should keep these things. We should keep this on our radar because it's important to do. Yeah, good question. I would like to see this. We're discussing this.
I guess answer same. It's the same answer. It depends
The
on
good thing,
funding.
the good thing, yeah. Actually, I should really knock on the doors of Foxbit and Mercado Bitcoin and all the things here around. We had this discussion, I think, 2 days ago. Osman and me, we want to talk about that if we can get Signum on local exchange, on national exchange. That's something we want to do. So we don't have any idea how much they cost you, but it should be cheaper than, for example, being listed on Coinbase. Oh, that would be a dream. Yeah, we were talking on the same, like getting on Coinbase, and we said, yeah, if we get, yeah, the value CX is no, absolutely no. The stable token, no. The value of Signa affects XT business. No, not really. From a really economical perspective, you can say like the low price is even positive for us because we have to pay less, but we have a very few transactions. We don't care about that. So we have made a kind of stable token for the distributed payouts, the XTC token. That's a stable token, and we control this, and this is backed by our own liquidity. Okay. So we avoid any kinds of volatility for our token holders. We need to avoid that because it makes no sense. So they even have one volatility barrier inside that is like USDC or USD, a dollar to Brazilian real, because Brazilian real is like that. It's like, yeah. Just to have an idea, it was like we are right now. We have $1 is five reais and eight centavos. Last week is what 5.20. The week before it's what 5.30. Just to have an idea how that works. It's like you can speculate on that. Yeah, we don't do, but yeah, we have an own stablecoin.
So your country have some problems, or
It's Brazil, of
it's
course.
Brazil? It's
I mean, it's second world. They say it's second world now. It's funny. It's a really Brazil has, for example, this extreme affine to technology. So the CVM, our SEC, is like embracing technology and helping them on financial producting and all this stuff. So they just want to regulate that, but they're not afraid of that. They don't want to shut down. Just to have an idea, next year there will be a CBDC by the central bank here. Of course, CBDC has to be by the central bank, but it wouldn't be a CBDC. But it's being built upon Hyperledger. So they use blockchain technology for making a CBDC. Nobody wants a CBDC, but Brazil probably makes a little bit sense because many people are very smart here trying to fuck the system. And the system has to run. Yeah, the system has to run behind to see, hey, you cannot fuck me. And that's really we have problems with corruption. We have problems with volatility. We have problems economical wise here. Yeah, we have that, and they need to be fight somehow. Okay, that's good.
I don't know about this.
Good to know. This is a few years ago, but we should keep this on track, Paul. He's asking if by 25 all financial payments have to be ISO compliant. ISO compliant. Yep. Yeah. Going toward that.
Okay, we have no questions more. I just want to
give away.
Sorry? Yes, give away. So if you won one of these NFTs, just comment this video with your Signum address, and you will get one from Signum Art. Or in Twitter, if you're watching this on Twitter, just reply with your address and tag this video or tag Signum Official, and you will get this NFT. Doge token from Alistair. Oh, we have Alistair.
Hey, Alistair! Can we make a Signum Dodge token? I think so.
We need to.
We should be on Binance or PancakeSwap, or where has it to be? Or making a bridge or whatever. We have it on BTDEX. Don't we have it, Dodge, on BTDEX?
Frank has this idea about this pools, liquidity pools, and etc. Exactly. So on this, on Signum Swap, it can be added. So I don't know when.
Yeah, right now Signum Swap is working on staking token right now at this moment, but the next is LP, liquidity pools come afterwards. So that is more with Frank and I for working on that. I'm doing some of the connection work, like backend work or whatever, like connection with the blockchain stuff. And while I'm working on the mobile wallet right now. Ja. Dankeschön. Ja, bitteschön. Holger, kein Problem.
Okay, guys, press like, comment with your address, or retweet with your Signum address. You will get NFT, and we will have Signum mobile wallet release. I don't know, maybe next week, maybe.
Yeah, that was I'm going to do it right now. I have almost everything done. Some bugs were fixed, which were reported way back in time. I'm so sorry for that, but I was so swamped in work, and I was almost giving up the mobile wallet. But through the great work of Time Walker, so we were able to upgrade that to latest library stuff and all these things. And I'm finalizing that. So the status is on the GitHub repo on the Signum mobile wallet right now. And the Android version will be released, pretty sure, I'm pretty confident, next week. iOS is taking over, like AXTP is paying the developer license for macOS. Finally, I got a machine at home, and I'm just like preparing the iOS build. And I hopefully that we can do this in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then we have in the first step almost we have the right now Signum wallet, which is still named like Phoenix. It will be named like Phoenix in that first moment, but it will be extracted. It's already extracted and will be renamed in a second revamp. So the second step will be a larger step where we bring up the features that we have in XT. So there will be like tokens stuff. There will be more of these features, and it will be a revamp in the layout, and then it will be under a new name. And so we will shut down the Phoenix mobile wallets, and then it will be the official Signum mobile wallet. There will be no fancy name anymore. So it's just like grow out of the Phoenix project, and it's now going into staying its own world. But at the first moment next week, it will be almost the same wallet. I make improvements on the UI and the UX. I fixed issues, and there will be a usable wallet on Android and on iOS, which has taken some, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for remembering that. Yeah, it still has to be done on Phoenix, but if an issue open, but it's no problem. I do this in the meanwhile. This was good that you had this, that you found that issue. I wasn't aware about that messages could have messages without attachment. Very technical one, yeah. But thank you for helping that out. Yeah, that was like an interesting thing. I learned something new.
Yes, if someone finds some kind of book or have some suggestions, can go to GitHub and write some issue or feature request or.
Yeah, there was even an interesting issue I fixed right now for. I'm not sure who reported that, but it was like a numeric precision issue on JavaScript that fucked up the wallet, the Signum mobile wallet, and I fixed that. So that there are people complaining that their accounts, then they import them, that they get a white screen and crashing the app. It won't happen anymore, at least for that issues that I found there. Okay, I cannot guarantee nothing. It's something like poking around a bit. Thank you guys for helping that, for finding that issues.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yep. Stay tuned.